You avoid taxation or any sort of, government rules about kidnapping fees or things.
Until we get there, which we're absolutely not.
The business mogul and chairman of Microsoft, Bill Gates, has indeed left a mark in history. He is most noted for being the co-founder of the software company Microsoft and was once named the richest person in America by Forbes Magazine. But even after all these achievements, how will you feel if you realize that Bill Gates no longer runs some of his major companies? Could it be strange? Well, his actions are still monitored and scrutinized around the world, and this has left many people wondering what exactly is wrong with the economy these days. And it has also created a buzz due to some of his current moves in the stock market. The Microsoft founder predicted that something as worse as or even than the coronavirus pandemic could happen sooner or later. This is why he's looking ahead to what the next pandemic might be. Now, the major news of the day is that Bill Gates has been selling quite a number of his stocks. He's now having a change of plans and focus as regards his investments. Financial specialists are viewing this as a signal of another possible crisis in the economic sector. The theory behind this is that if Gates thinks certain sectors are becoming riskier, then this may be true. That brings us to today's video, where we'll take a look at why Bill Gates decided to sell his stocks. Watch the video to the end because it's gonna be interesting. When Bill Gates announced a few months ago that he was going to donate $20 billion to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, he specifically didn't say the exact assets he was giving up. This was part of a move to step up the giving by the philanthropic group. We know Bill Gates' wealth isn't just on paper, as he can turn his fortune into cash much faster than other billionaires. His ways are entirely different from other tech billionaires. There have been numerous speculations from most people as they believe that Bill Gates' net worth comes from Microsoft. Well, you may be right to an extent, but it's not entirely true. Of course, it is obvious he made his fortune through Microsoft, but in reality, Bill Gates is the kind of man that can quickly diversify his portfolio, and trust me, that's exactly what he's doing. What if we told you that Microsoft today makes up just a few % of his entire portfolio? What does this mean to you? It basically means Gates isn't too dependent on Microsoft, as he has several means to create wealth. One of his most significant and best positions is in Berkshire Hathaway. He owns at least 54 million shares of the company, which amount to around $11.2 billion. Berkshire Hathaway is a holding company that invests in multiple companies like Apple, IBM, General Motors, Bank of America, and Goldman Sachs, to name a few. Gates also owns 18.6 million shares of Waste Management Incorporated, which amounts to around $2 billion. Before continuing, let's divert a bit on the major reason he decides to be selling his stocks. I'm sure the word recession isn't strange to you. We are almost into a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy. Although we are not currently into it, if care is not taken, we could be experiencing something worse than what has happened in 2008. We have a hard time believing the economy is in recession today, given a strong labor market and corporate earnings growth, said Tim Holland, Chief Investment Officer at Orion Advisor Solutions. We also remind ourselves that recessions are uncommon, as our economy was in recession just 8% of the time over the past 30 years. Nevertheless, a recession may be arriving very soon, and the Federal Reserve is determined to raise interest rates until inflation starts to moderate from sky-high levels. That may cause the economy to contract and enter a recession. Much of the valuation derating has been due to higher inflation this year. According to Bloomberg, unless bond yields start to decline and buffer rising equity risk premiums due to recession fears, equity valuations could decline further. The bank's strategists also predicted that corporate earnings might suffer in the year's second half due to higher costs and slowing consumer behavior. However, recent reports show that Bill Gates sold around $940 million of Canadian National Railway Company shares, trimming one of the largest holdings of the investment firm that controls his $117 billion personal fortune. Since the COVID-19 pandemic first hit the world economy has been on a descending scale, and one of the strongest parts is that the situation of things just keeps getting worse. With a record of high inflation rates and shortage of labor, Michael Burry believes and affirms that a worldwide recession is just around the corner, and he has some very valid arguments to back up his claims. We know him to be a man of accuracy and precision in the economic world. There was a time when Berry accused the Biden administration of redefining what qualifies as a recession, and denying the U.S. economy is just days away from officially entering into a deep one. For the time in the history of Microsoft, Bill Gates, who is known to be the founder of the world's giant software, no longer appears to be its major shareholder. Bill Gates has sold almost 8 million shares of Microsoft, bringing down his total to roughly $330 million, which puts him behind Microsoft's former CEO, Steve Ballmer, who owns 333 million shares. Now that Bill Gates has decided to sell his stocks, we know the reason is to prepare for one of the worst economic disasters in history. It may be unfair and sad to us, but we know Gates to be someone who doesn't only work based on current events, but also on what the future has to say regarding economics and all. Truly, Gates is widely known for being a CEO, and he's even much better at capital growth. Gates even managed to make $50 billion over the past 20 years through the help of his fund manager, Michael Larson. Both of them have made millions when the bull run. These factors helped him consistently beat the S&P 500 and grow his wealth to new heights. This is why Gates is now preparing for what might become one of the worst downtimes of all time. It's going to come as a shocker to everyone. We are aware that the current economy isn't in any favorable position, and even the United States is currently experiencing accelerating inflation. We are also in the lowest consumer sentiment in history. As if that's not enough, the Russia-Ukraine war is still there. Not even talk of the low consumer savings rates. We believe that there's a possibility that we could avoid a recession because of the strong labor market. Unemployment rates in June remained at a low of 3.6%, the same percentage it's been in the previous 3 months. And U.S. job openings also remain high, with close to 9 jobs available for every unemployed person in May. Well, this could salvage the situation, but one needs to act wisely, which is exactly what Gates is doing. But if the recession comes, people will still be eating food and going to work. But for Bill Gates, private equity will really be a way to hedge his portfolio further through diversification. A rise in interest rates makes future cash flow less valuable, which lowers the overall value of companies, especially tech companies focused on bringing cash in the future. We will have to wait and see how everything unfolds. Well, that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video and are optimistic about the future of the world economy, do well to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.